WUHF television studios in Rochester, New York. This is Fox First at 10.
Good evening, everyone. First on Fox tonight, a holiday greeting. All of us hope you have had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Sure felt sort of like a holiday there today, didn't it? Little snow falling on your way to grandmother's house for Thanksgiving dinner. Not enough to cause any major problems, though. Just a dusting in most places, although anyone out tonight probably had to scrape their windows before they jumped into the car. But what's it going to be like tomorrow morning when thousands get up early to go shopping? Let's start with news that's important to you. Here's John Stalen with your Fox First forecast.
Kevin, it is going to be, in one word, cold tomorrow morning. We are going to be into the 20s, but that's not the problem. It's going to be the winds tomorrow morning. But right now, if you're leaving your relative's house, going home, or starting to stand in line, maybe out in Waterloo for the big sales for tomorrow, we do have a few light snow showers moving on through the area. I really don't see much of a problem with it. Maybe an inch, up to an inch, maybe two in some areas, but nonetheless, just a few snow showers on the overnight. Here's the big picture if you're doing a little bit more driving, maybe to the outlets in Niagara Falls tomorrow, or heading down to Pennsylvania where there's no taxes. You will see just some scattering of some snow showers as you progress down to the south and to the east. You can even see some clearing back here. So snow really not the problem. It's going to be the cold temperatures are already at 29 degrees, and then for tomorrow morning we'll be around 26 degrees at 8 a.m. and we back that up. We'll be into the low 20s around 5 to 6 when a lot of you get out to the stores. 30 degrees at noontime, a few snow showers, a few snowflakes for 4 p.m. and 32 degrees. We'll have more in your forecast in just a few.
Thank you very much, John. On a day when most families are giving thanks, a Rochester family is saying goodbye. 35-year-old Ajana Dorch, known to many as Angel, was shot to death in a car on Fulton Avenue early yesterday. And Fox First at 10's Megan Backus says loved ones spent part of their Thanksgiving holiday back at the scene of the crime.
I was lost.
On a day set aside to give thanks.
We thank God for the 30-something years that He gave Angel.
And on this day of giving.
What she gave her all. 100%, no matter what she did.
Ajana Dorch, also known as Angel, was remembered. But instead of gathering around the dinner table, family and friends came around a vigil on Fulton Avenue, near the same spot the mother of four was shot to death early yesterday morning.
All of a sudden, because someone else was angry with her at another person, her life was gone and her children are left here to grieve.
Left to grieve for a woman who persevered. Angel had her associate's degree and was just accepted into the bachelor's program at Keuka College.
She really struggled to make the best of life, to correct the mistakes that she had made early on in her life, and she achieved that goal.
And all she wanted to do was finish school and provide a good life for her children.
And Angel's family is thankful for the woman who strived and worked so hard, but hopeful her killers will be found.
Her children could see that the people that took their mother from them will be held accountable to the full length of the law.
Was blind, but now I see.
Megan Backus, Fox First at 10.
Tonight we can tell you about memorial services for a Rochester teenager who was shot to death last weekend. Calling hours for 16-year-old Christopher Jones will be tomorrow at the D.M. Williams Funeral Home on Elm Grove Road from 6 to 9 in the evening. Funeral services will be Saturday at the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church at 11 in the morning. Jones was shot and killed on Lexington Avenue. Officers say Jones got into a fight with 16-year-old Deshaquan Nathan just before the shooting. Nathan has been arrested. He faces murder charges. A Wayne County man has been killed in a strange tractor accident. It happened yesterday on Ball Road in the town of Marion. Wayne County Sheriff's deputies say 20-year-old Joseph Malaborski was using a farm tractor to tow a car out of a ditch. The car hit a utility pole and knocked the pole over. Deputies say the tractor then got tangled in low-hanging power lines and Malaborski was electrocuted. Today is the day many of us sit down to receive a traditional holiday meal of turkey with all the trimmings. But for some, it's a time to give a meal to those who might otherwise go without. Fox First at 10's Kevin Jolly looks at how some people in our area are reaching out to others this Thanksgiving Day.
Muslims, Christians, and Jews gathered at Temple Bethel for this interfaith service to call for unity this Thanksgiving.
I think in a time when there's so much distrust and so much violence in the world, I think what ultimately is going to bring peace is mutual understanding. And coming together is a way to appreciate each other's traditions and different religions.
Meanwhile, just across town, hundreds came to the Open Door Mission to share a traditional meal. It's been a holiday tradition at the mission for years.
On top of serving and having a great Thanksgiving Day banquet, it is also the Open Door Mission's 55th anniversary in serving in this community when we opened our doors back in 1952.
And Nancy Myers knows about tradition. She served up her first Thanksgiving Day meal to 8 homeless people back in 1964. Now 43 years later, and she's still reaching out to help the less fortunate.
It's hard because this is only really one day, and I always worry about these people the rest of the year.
That's what also drives Joe Bachman at the Underground Cafe. He uses his restaurant year-round to help those in need.
What we have given to this community is amazing, from the children program, the neighborhood programs, to the community as a whole program. I mean, we try our best to do the best for this community.
And that simple act of giving helped to make a big difference this Thanksgiving Day. And by the way, this is the 137th year the Interfaith Thanksgiving Worship Service has been held in Rochester. That makes it the oldest event of its kind in the entire country. Kevin Jolly, Fox First at 10.
Thank you, Kevin. Now to a different kind of Thanksgiving tradition. This one in Chilai. About 24 people turned out in Chilai for what's called the annual Turkey Bowl. They played at the Florence Baser School in Chilai. The touch football game was started by a small group of friends back in 1974. It's grown tremendously. And there's an interesting story about who got it going.
It originated because my wife wanted me out of the kitchen while she was making our first Thanksgiving dinner. She goes, "You're in my way." So beat it. So I called my brothers and a couple of my cousins and friends, and we put a little, like 5-on-5 touch football game.
Today, more than 30 friends and family showed up to play football. Seckham says this is the 33rd year for the Turkey Bowl. He's looking forward to another 33 years. In a city renowned for its art and culture, there's a new addition to Rochester, the likes of which hasn't been seen here or anywhere else. News 8 Now's Dave McKinley reports.
Should I get to work?
For the past 2.5 months, artist John Carafin has been working 12 hours a day, assembling his 25-foot-tall masterpiece in the lobby of the Public Safety Building. Some literature nearby informs curious passers-by that the whole thing involves mathematical phenomena, transcending culture and time, which utilizes ancient and contemporary discoveries to reveal scientific and aesthetic laws of the cosmos, although he is the first to admit.
When people read that, they have absolutely no clue.
He more simply defines his creation as
the first ever living sculpture.
What?
The sculpture itself is physically alive. There's organisms that live inside of those cells, those clear tubes with all the colors, and they're able to, basically, when they eat sugar, create electricity. So when that happens, it's able to, in this structure, produce all of its own light. It's going to produce all of its own sound, and it also grows over time as it drifts down from the top. It has a circulatory system, and it forms crystals,
which will eventually grow to cover the more than 3 miles of PVC piping and untold lengths of tubing and wire of which this is composed. It should grow forever, just as long as air is pumped into it, so the little guys living in those 360 fuel cells don't end up killing themselves by creating alcohol. And we should mention no animals were harmed in the creation of this sculpture because the microorganisms contained within are in fact
common baker's yeast, which is a single-celled fungus, which is really cool that it can do all this, and there's a good 40 pounds of that.
It's not exactly soup from the stone, but nonetheless, fancy that. Dave McKinley, Fox First at 10.
Well, isn't that neat? And you are all invited to the unveiling of the world's first living sculpture. It'll happen Friday, December 7th at 5 o'clock in the lobby of the Public Safety Building on Exchange Street in downtown Rochester. Shoppers, brace yourselves. We're just hours away now from Black Friday. Next, important things to think about to make sure you shop safely this holiday season. And then later on, deck the halls. Oh, that is an understatement at a home on Rochester's Atlantic Avenue. And that is our photo finish. Well, less than 2 hours now before the clock strikes midnight, and believe it or not, many shoppers, including the producer of this very newscast, our own Juanita Washington, are getting ready to brave the winds and cold and long lines for midnight madness. Yep, this is the second year in a row the Waterloo Premium Outlets in Geneva will open for business tonight at midnight. Juanita can't wait for this newscast to end. They want to give eager shoppers a chance to find great deals at Waterloo. More than 4 dozen stores are participating. Waterloo is one of 25 Chelsea Premium Outlets across the United States that will be holding Midnight Madness sales tonight. I hope she remembers all of us. There have been a lot of toy recalls this year, and while that's cause for concern for many shoppers, reporter John Lawrence says parents don't have to worry if they use common sense and take some precautions.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission says nearly 2 dozen children die from toy-related injuries every year. Tens of thousands more end up in emergency rooms. And with a record number of toy recalls issued this year, the agency has advice for holiday shoppers. Look for age-appropriate toys and games. Stay away from toys with small parts, especially for kids under 3.
Parents should understand that choking, aspirating on small parts and balls are one of the top ways that children are injured or killed from a toy.
Leaders from the nonprofit U.S. Public Interest Research Group, or PIRG, say there's a simple test you can do.
If a toy fits inside an empty toilet paper roll, it's too small for a child under 3 or even an older child who still puts things into their mouth.
For kids under 6, avoid toys with small magnets.
We do know that children may put them in their mouths, and you should know when a magnet product is in your home and look for that.
These magnets are so strong that they'll hold across my finger, and so you can easily see that the magnets will get trapped inside a child's intestine.
For children under 8, avoid products with sharp edges or points. If you're buying a ride-on toy, also buy the child a helmet. John Lawrence, Fox First at 10.
And for more safety advice and a list of recalled toys, go to our website at rochesterhomepage.net. Well, during the daytime, it looks like your typical home in Rochester. But tonight in our photo finish, see what happens when the sun sets and this home on Atlantic Avenue transforms into a magical holiday display. And severe weather rips through parts of Florida. That story's ahead.
Happy Thanksgiving. The weekend has just begun for a lot of folk who have about 4 days off, and you'll spend half of it in lines doing some shopping. Did see some snowflakes for today. Made it feel pretty. Heading out to Grandma's house, got the Christmas tree lights. Everything was beautiful. Nonetheless, it was kind of easy getting around. Just a little road spray in your old windshields. But nonetheless, we are seeing a few light snow flurries moving on through the areas. This really shouldn't drop much. I would say up to an inch possible in some areas, maybe a little bit more. But anything more than this will be a nuisance, but it will look pretty out there for tomorrow and Black Friday if you're doing shopping or just staying home and watching some sports action. This is what moved on through the area earlier, the rain showers with a little mix out there, but nonetheless, we're just seeing some few scattered snow showers, and I really don't expect this to amount to much. Now, the problem is you got wet roadways untreated with the low temperatures that we'll see tonight. Yeah, that's the problem. Temperatures below the freezing mark right now, and once they get into the lower 20s, yeah, that's when the salt decides not to work as well. We're still good. Anytime it goes below 20 degrees, we're in trouble. I think we stay above 20, but nonetheless, watch out for what they call black ice, and that's basically looks like a wet roadway, but it isn't. It's a sheet of ice. Here it is. Winds are fairly breezy and brisk right now, 12 miles an hour into Rochester out of the west. We expect a northwesterly wind, and that should pick up to 10 to 20 miles an hour, and that's where we could get a few snow showers for tomorrow. Here it is for you. 40 your high, 30 your low. Here are your records. Big 7 degrees back in 1880. Kevin remembers that day. 45 and 31. I know it's cheap, but it was good. All right, temperatures were fairly close to normal for today, but that will change as we head into tomorrow. 29 degrees in Rochester, back into Detroit, 30 degrees, so you can see the colder air out to the west. That's working itself in, my friends, but don't fret. We'll see temperatures rebound as we head into next week, believe it or not. Here it is, a few light snow showers moving on through the area. Really, you can't see much. We'll just get a little off the lake for tomorrow as the winds come out of the north and to the northwest. It'll be pretty cold out there. Wind chills tomorrow, and if you're heading out to Black Friday, bundle up, cover the exposed skin. We're looking for wind chills into the 20s. And then as we head into the weekend, everything shuts down. It looks like a fairly decent weekend for us. 24 degrees, your overnight low. Brisk and cold, a few snow showers, not adding up to much, but watch out for the slick roadways. 32 degrees for tomorrow. On and off flakes, not adding up to much. Wind chills into the 20s. That's where the briskness comes in, if that's a word. Saturday, 38 degrees, 44 for your Sunday, and we could see a few rain showers mixed with some wet snowflakes by Tuesday, but temperatures back into the 40s. Kevin?
Thank you very much, John. That was a cheap shot. I want to show you some pictures from severe weather in Florida late last night. Experts believe this was likely a tornado that caused a lot of damage to homes and businesses around the town of Milton. Milton is on the Florida Panhandle. As you can see, a lot of cleanup to do. Now, despite the destruction, no reported injuries after those storms came through. Still ahead, plenty of Thanksgiving football of the NFL variety, and Kevin Carroll has all your highlights coming up in your 2-minute drill.
Into a hurry up to get this ball snapped.
Fox First Weather brought to you by Dunn Tire.
Thanksgiving is all about food, family, and football. Kevin Carroll handles the football part for us. Here's the 2-minute drill. Kev?
All right, what a day. Stuffing your face and watching NFL football. Can't beat it. As usual, the Cowboys and the Lions hosting games. As expected, the Cowboys winning and the Lions not. Sets up a good meeting next week, though. Detroit hosting Green Bay. Lions up 6-0, but Brett Favre finding Greg Jennings on the slant. Green Bay took the lead. Jennings first of 2 TDs from Favre. Things just didn't go the Lions' way at all. Green Bay with the hurry-up. Heath Smith with the pick and a sure TD, but his team called a timeout. No go. And then 2 plays later, Favre to Ruvel Martin. That made it 31-12. Detroit cut it close, but Green Bay improved to 10-1 with a 37-26 win heading to Dallas. Cowboys hosting the Jets. Dallas up 14-0 in the first half. Kellen Clemens with the pass. That pick by Terrence Newman. He's off to the races. 50-yard TD. Dallas led 21-3 at the break. 27-3 in the fourth. Tony Romo finds Terrell Owens just for the fun of it in the end zone. Romo with 2 TD passes. They'll host the Packers for the top spot in the NFC next week. Bills Thanksgiving took on a new meeting this year in the Bills locker room after the team started the season watching one of their teammates suffer severe spinal cord injury 10 weeks after the incident. Tight end Kevin Everett was released from a Houston hospital and will continue his rehab as an outpatient. He even made a video message that was shown prior to Sunday's game. Naturally, Everett's progress is what the Bills are most thankful for.
And you can see how he has grown as a person, and just knowing Kevin, the 2 years that I've been here, to see him, relate to some of the people that have similar, circumstances, that predicaments that he's in, that wasn't even football related. For him to talk about those persons like that, it was uplifting and it was encouraging.
Major League Baseball, Vlad Guerrero, he just got some help. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim reached a preliminary agreement with outfielder Torrey Hunter. It's a 5-year deal worth a reported $90 million. Hunter hit .297 with 28 homers with the Twins last season. HL Hockey, Rochester Americans spent the holiday in Binghamton. The Amerks lost 4-1. They're back at home tomorrow. With your 2-minute drill, I'm Kevin Carroll.
Thank you, Kev. John's back to look at your long holiday weekend forecast, and it's a one-of-a-kind holiday light display right here in Rochester. That is our photo finish.
Here's your last look at your first weather, and yeah, just a little bit of a snow shower expected for the next several hours, but nothing overly heavy. Temperatures into the 20s, drop to the low to mid-20s tonight. Watch out for some black ice if you are heading out and about tomorrow morning on Black Friday. 26 degrees at 8 a.m. will be up to 32 as your high with on and off snowflakes for tomorrow, but no significant accumulations. Kevin?
Thank you, John. In our photo finish, a Christmas tradition on Rochester's east side. This evening, Kevin and Debbie Cole flipped the switch, turning on one of the biggest and brightest holiday light displays you will see anywhere. The Coles live on the corner of Atlantic Avenue and Amsterdam Road in Rochester. Fox First at 10 photojournalist Rainey Cousin says thousands will stop by this holiday season, but few will know the real story of why the Coles put so much time and effort into their display.
3, 2, 1.
My wife and I have been working on it for about the end of August until tonight. We worked on it right up to tonight. We do this because if you look out on our sidewalk right now, which is 200 feet long, there's got to be, what, 300 people here? People complain about having 10, 12 people over for Thanksgiving. I have 200-300 over for Thanksgiving. Christmas is for children, and this is second year for my little buddy Alex. Unfortunately, a couple years ago, he lost his life to the cancer. He'd sit and watch me build the trains. And he just sat there for 3, 4, 5 hours just watching the trains go by. And it really touched my heart. It's hard for me even to talk about it now. So this way he's in everybody's mind right around Christmas time. This is a great success.
Now, Rainey says Kevin and Debbie have no kids of their own, but they say they get great joy out of seeing the faces of kids light up when they visit their house. They also ask that we all remember the men and women serving our country away from home this holiday season, which is a great idea.
Sure is. Incredible.
2.5 Men is next. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Have a great night.
Be a part of the Fox First at 10 team. If you have a story or see breaking news, call #888, a free call on your Verizon cell phone.